Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the channel. All five of you. Um, Hopefully, it'll start growing. But for this episode, I'm going to start with a scripture, which would be Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6. And the scripture is, Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path. Now, why I read that scripture is because I'm going to tell you guys a story, a faith story of how the Most High um, moved me from Las Vegas to Los Angeles. Now, the way this story begins is I'm actually from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I have been living in Los Angeles since 2013. And then, roughly around July 2018, myself, my grandmother, and my son moved from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. And I always say Las Vegas was my wilderness experience because my grandmother at that time moved back to Cincinnati, Ohio, and it was right when the pandemic was beginning. And so I had a lot going on with being a single parent to an autistic son, and we were in a pandemic. And on top of that, not having employment, I was waiting to be called back to a job that I was working for the government, but because of the pandemic, that didn't happen. So um, I was kind of just on faith. And my grandmother, she was helping me to still pay my rent after she left for some time. She did leave me with a Section 8 voucher, which was very helpful. But, I still had other bills and things that I would have to take care of. And so I did hear the Most High tell me when I moved to Las Vegas in 2018 that I would be there for 3 years. And at the time, I didn't quite understand that because I had just moved there and I felt like, well, it's what's wrong with Las Vegas? I like it, or so I thought. Um, and I didn't see why I would be leaving in 3 years. And then he also told me I will be moving back to LA. So after I had been in Las Vegas for 3 years, I would be moving back to LA. At the time, that didn't make any sense to me, but lo and behold, I did actually move back August 2nd of 2021, and I moved to Las Vegas July the 31st of 2018. So basically exactly 3 years I moved back to Los Angeles. But the part about faith is the fact that um, I didn't have the money to move back. I didn't even have a car. I had sold my car, so I didn't have the car. I didn't have the money, and it was only me and my son. So how on earth was I going to get back to Los Angeles with no car and no money? But the Most High made a way. And so it started with, I would say, maybe about April. I began to hear him tell me to start to get my paperwork together because, again, I do have a Section 8 voucher. And so when you move from state to state with Section 8, you have to turn in a lot of paperwork to one office, and then they have to ship it to the office that you're requesting, and then they have to approve it at the new office in order for you to get a voucher at the new office. And then you would need to have some place to stay while you're waiting for the voucher in the new state. So in April, I began to hear the Most High tell me, start to get your paperwork together. But foolishly, I ignored his voice and I was not obedient. And so I literally always say, I sit there and I kicked my feet up and I just kept on doing what I was doing and feeling like there's no reason for me to move and do that. So that's how it went. And then I think it was April when he told me, and I didn't do anything. And then when June came, I had a private landlord, and she began to tell me that she wanted to go up on the rent. And the way that Section 8 works is you have a voucher based on the size and the number of people that you have in your household. So we lived in a 3 bedroom because my grandmother once lived there, but since she left, I no longer had a 3 bedroom voucher. I had a 2 bedroom voucher. And so when the landlady said she wanted to go up on the rent, I was like, I can't afford that because number one, I already have a voucher that does not fit this unit, and I don't have a job. We're in a pandemic, so what could I do? And her word was, we'll do it slowly. And now I knew I would need to find a new place. So I started looking for places in Las Vegas because, again, I didn't have money. I didn't even have I didn't even have the money to move to a new apartment in Las Vegas. I mean, I had no money. And so things began to get difficult for me, I felt. And so I remember I was talking to my mother about it, and she was offering to pay my rent because the landlady was going up $200, but I knew that that wouldn't be sustainable for my mother to keep paying the extra money. So I just said, well, I'm going to have to move. But again, I started looking for places in Las Vegas. And to no avail could I find a place in Las Vegas. And at the same time, the landlady began to show. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to stop this. This will be part one, and I'll upload another one. The phone is getting too hot, so give me time. I'll upload a part two. I'll do it in segments.